Hey everybody, it's Tripl-L. Now let's talk My Hero Academia's chapter 165. Win the kid's hearts, I believe. That's what it's called. Yeah, win the brat's hearts. Alright, cool. Man, first off, let's just make the note of who would have thought we'd be in this situation, right? I know a lot of people could have guessed, alright, we'd be with Todoroki and Bakugo, but who would have guessed we would be there with Kami as well? Just looking at the title page and seeing those four characters together, it's kind of amusing, and that amusement factor kind of goes into the rest of the chapter. It's an overall pretty funny chapter. President Mike is our comic relief for this chapter. Well, our dedicated comic relief. And my stand-up President Mike moment is definitely at the end, where President Mike the narration is saying what little conscience President Mike had stopped him from questioning how hard it is to actually wrangle kids. I just thought President Mike was hilarious for that. Oh, but my traitor theories are tingling. What little conscience? Are you saying that he doesn't have conscience? What are you trying to say, author? Anyway, not the point. That's just a little bit of a joke. That said, let's talk about the chapter. So there's the kids, them doing their shit, everyone having their different methods of going about this. There's that to talk about, and then there's the Endeavor talk with All Might. It doesn't really go anywhere aside from All Might telling Endeavor to be himself, and to actually in a way, when I'm listening to All Might does sound like he's kind of apologetic, or not apologetic, but he doesn't look at that situation with. He doesn't seem to be that proud of that situation that formed with Endeavor, especially because of the part where he was saying that people had to realize, or people should know, that those two guys are different. So it's just very interesting, and I do think that the message that All Might is telling Endeavor, it's a good message, but I don't think this is the climax of that emotional arc that's being established right now in this mini arc. That said, I'm excited to see the final revelations that Endeavor has coming out of all of this, because that talk was really nice. It was a really nice chat. Now, that said, let's see. There was that. There was the kids, and yeah, pretty much just the kids. Okay, so our guys were dealing with how to win over the hearts of the children. I do think Bakugo is totally correct in this one. I agree with Bakugo. I think, yes, you should destroy the kids' egos. His idea of stringing them up and just pretty much bullying them, or just pretty much laughing at them. You know what? Yeah, I'm totally in for that. Look, the kids are being brats. They think they know better than anyone else. Yeah, I'm totally in with Bakugo to just say, yeah, okay, let's just break their egos for once and then just teach them a lesson. I'll take away anything that's overly abusive. If they beat them up too much, that'll take away points. But the humiliation aspect, I think, yeah, for little kids like this, yeah. I'm just trying to think if humiliation is gonna have long-lasting scars. Well, no, they're being such brats too. They have to learn. They have to learn somehow. And if Bakugo's still gonna be the one to give them the hard knocks, it's yeah, alright. That said, people had different attempts here. Inasa had his attempt. I thought the most heroic. Todoroki had his attempt, but Todoroki sometimes is so straightforward and to the point that it's kind of funny. And this was one of those moments. Kami didn't really do anything, so we're not gonna see that. At the end, though, them opting to go for violence and Bakugo's way of doing things, sort of. I find it interesting, but I do think it's funny. I mean, this is shonen, right? Where all problems can be solved with violence. So seeing that the little kids opted to it as well, that they want to fight with the older students, it's that's such a shonen solution, right? These are some of the moments you just have to take a second and just take a step back to just laugh. If there's ever a time where there's no option of peaceful resolution, something that in the real world people strive to have because they don't want to pick any more fights, it's shonen, where there's just peaceful resolution is almost never on the table. Unless it's Naruto, and then he's making a big deal about peaceful resolution. Anyway, it's just a funny observation. Just a funny little thing. That said, the rhetoric that the little kids are saying is really interesting. And another thing that this kind of like came out with Inasa, just like the vocabulary of children. Now, every time I see a toddler or like a really short kid, and I see him with such a comprehensive vocabulary, I always take a step back because I try to remember back when I was teaching little kids, and like I'm teaching like grade 6, maybe middle school age, and it's like these kids have better vocabulary than those kids had. Like, you know, it's just, it always throws me off. I think I need to like just get reintegrated to understand like how kids actually deal, how they talk nowadays. I need to like relearn that because it's always these little moments that throw me off. That said, the complexity of their rhetoric aside, what the kids is saying is pretty interesting, that their generation is better. So the way they premise that is just interesting. They talk about how their parents have been seeing it on TV. They talk about how their parents are questioning whether or not they can rely on heroes. And then they're talking about how like their parents are telling them that their generation is going to be better. That whole sequence justifies what's going on with these children. It's a whole generation of Bakugos. No wonder. Well, actually, no. Bakugo was a problem that like grew over like 13 years. 15 years, sorry. That said, this rhetoric, no wonder Bakugo's like getting right to the point. This is like exactly how he would deal with someone like himself. Yeah, I say like, yeah, break him. Like, that's pretty much what's going on with Bakugo's character right now, right? Like, he built himself up, he has a giant ego, and now it's getting broken down, and he's getting like taught where his place is. Or not taught where his place is, but he's getting a better perspective for where he is in the grand scheme of things. We know that he had that big moment way back when the series first started, when he realized people like Momo, people like Todoroki existed, and that he wasn't the greatest thing in the universe. Yeah, that's pretty much where these kids are when you look at it, when you look at their rhetoric. So what Bakugo is saying here is actually very, I do think it's very correct. Like, even like at the beginning, he premised it by saying that this is what happens when a teacher isn't a leader, right? He talks about how the brats just got too big for their britches, and it's just talking about how that now they have to be rebroken down again. And I also love that he talks about there's a boss who's ringleading the kids, and I do definitely want to see that pop up. I wonder if it's the kid that said that Bakugo has a terrible upbringing. A terrible upbringing. And also on that note, I thought it was funny how Bakugo pretty much confirmed, yeah, he got beat up as a kid a lot. Not beat up, but you know, punished by his mother a lot. We kind of could have seen that coming, but it's just good to have that confirmation. That said, yeah, I'm pretty excited for this. Now I'm pretty solid. Like, after telling you guys about this, I've convinced myself this is pretty much a classroom of Bakugos, and I just want to see how our heroes are gonna just wipe the floor with them. Man, I'm not gonna lie. I said this last week, but I don't like brats. And so whenever I get to see this kind of comeuppance, I'm totally game for it. And again, I'm totally in with Bakugo. Break them down. You can do without the stoning, but like, you know, tying them up and just like hanging them for everyone to see and embarrassing them, I'm totally cool with that. Man, they're picking a fight. They want to say that their generation's going to be better. All right, that's cool. That said, let's talk about that. What do you guys think about that statement that our generation's going to be better? Because the thing is, as we know, one thing that Hero Academia does really well is that it kind of captures the hypocrisy of media really well. And we know that the heroes are given unfair shakes by society, because society just wants them to be more than a hero. They want them to be gods, where that just isn't the case. And then you had All Might, who is pretty much a god in human form, or at least according to the data books. You have that kind of thing happening. And so, you know, these statements most likely are unfounded. Whatever they're saying, this apprehension that the parents of these kids have is probably just the regular apprehension that people usually have when they have no informed opinion about a subject. You know, we have that issue in our society. Hero Academia mimics it pretty well, that people are going to give unfair shakes to what they assume other service providers should be doing. It just doesn't work that way. And so when I hear that rhetoric at the end, that our generation will be better, it just sounds like that's just parents with the mentality, oh yeah, my kid can do no wrong. That's what that mentality sounds like. So if this ends up being one of those moments where these kids are just put in their place, I'm totally into that. But all things considered, like President Mike says, is it really that hard to control children? Yeah, I don't know. President Mike is ultimately the one that just kind of brings it back and just reminds us that this is a pretty silly situation. That said, guys, I would love to hear your thoughts about this. You heard the majority of my thoughts. I think Bakugo's right. I think they should beat them up, and I think those kids are brats. Any other things that are really important? The All Might and Endeavor chat. That's a chat that I want to see more of. I like it when the characters aren't, or when Endeavor isn't just a crazy guy who shouts really loud. I want to see growth. I want to see growth, and I think this is going to be a nice little mini arc that's going to give us that. That said, I do wonder if someone's going to draw the comparison between Bakugo and the children. Because if they do, that just validates whatever I'm saying. And I'm just going to be very petty just to be like, I'll take that as a victory if they do draw that comparison.